already, and right now Immortals looking to be one of those teams right here. Coming into game 2, Cloud9 shows the blue side. They're going to change things around a little bit, and you can see right off the bat, Immortals paying a lot of respect to what Talia can do. They first picked it last game. They're banning it off the table right away here. They do not want to let Jensen ever get his hands on that champ. And there's the Rumble ban. Shocker that.
Yep, if Jensen ends up getting some roam potential out of his mid laner, then it becomes a big thing for Cloud9, especially when they try to enable that bottom lane so much. It would just be 5 members showing up to the bot lane over and over again. It would be awful for Wild Turtle and Adrian. So it's a pretty expected ban.
But still, the first pick Gangplank coming through. They are unwilling to change this strategy. But this time, though, with the Rumble ban that I think we probably should have seen in game 1 for this, but at least there's one less counter pick available. That said, the Immortals Echo ban has been let off the table, and you can see Huni hovering it right now.
Yeah, he had always played it as AP, and he was actually one of the early adopters of top lane Echo before it was a tank build. And getting him to play tank build is always a struggle, apparently. So we'll see what he does today. The Trinity Force probably opens him up to playing it tanky a little bit more.
Yeah, Trinity Force for Echo is something that's massive in Korea and a lot of the other regions. It's being played almost every single game these days. But it's not going to be first picked. It is Rek'Sai and Trundle here.
And once again, it's the same Karma and Bard bans that we had in the prior game, so unless we see Smoothie jump off the Braum that he had, we see another sort of safe blind pick support here. Again, Trundle into Gangplank, not a very great one, so we expect that to be Adrian's support pick here, as they're just, I guess, putting more tanks into the lineup.
Yeah, and I like the drop of the Gragas ban, because Cloud9, now they get Gangplank, and then they'll pick up Gragas for themselves. And I think that Gragas is a far superior jungler to have when you are combining it with a Gangplank, as opposed to a Rek'Sai. You bring more disengage, you bring more CC and kite potential, whereas Rek'Sai is really a vision bot and helps you more in pick compositions and early game, and in the early game as well. So they aren't really putting too much attention on impact in the early game. So we'll see it. Oh, yes!
Yes, Riven is back in the building. We talk about the dozens of good counter picks to Gangplank. Riven is another one. And by the way, C9, you cannot play Whack-A-Mole against Huni's counter picks. So this is going to be another tough matchup for Impact. And Huni on a Riven that he's been very famous for.
As Irene talked about, Huni's propensity to play carry top laners. Riven is a big one.
The queen.
He brought it out once or twice this season, but then hasn't played it in quite a long time, actually.
Yeah, lane swaps were something that really messed Riven up, and with lane swaps being less prevalent and not happening until about 5 minutes into the game, you still have an opportunity to really mess up that Gangplank early game.
Syndra is something, though, that has been huge for both the quarterfinals last week. We saw Huhi put in huge performances on it. We saw Jensen do really well. This champion has been massive for a lot of teams lately, and very excited to see what the kind of counter pick will be for Pobelter. Oh, the lock on LeBlanc. He says, anything you can do, I can do better.
Ooh.
He's going right back at it.
It's a crazy matchup, too. Syndra can end up knocking away LeBlanc, and then the combo, point and click, even if she goes invisible, if you have enough damage to actually blow her up. Oh,
it's a skill shot focused matchup. You can outplay each other, and you can also one-shot each other. So it's going to be some tight timing here. The actual mechanical play of these two is going to be extremely important here. Same for the top lane matchup as well. That Riven versus Gangplank, it's going to be hectic.
And this actually puts a decent amount of pressure on Meteos to make a decision, because this middle lane is so volatile. If one of them gets ahead, they'll start dominating that matchup and hit those break points where they one-shot each other. But you're up against a Riven in the top lane, and the rule of facing a Riven is you go to that lane if she's on your team or against your team.
The question you have to ask, though, is as Meteos, if you go top lane, can you win the 2v2? And, I'm kind of doubtful that they can actually win that 2v2 unless it starts very advantageously, because Riven plus Rek'Sai is a nasty 2v2 composition.
Oh, and you know that Reignover is going to be up on that top side of the map, like always, and see what he ends up doing there.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a very interesting road ahead, because I don't think I've seen this matchup in quite a while. And these teams, I don't know how much they've played into it either, because how many times do you scrim against Riven as C9 here? And it's going to be up to how well they can adapt to this game. We are getting ready for Game 2. Immortals, the second seed. They've only lost to TSM all split long, and now they're here to make their way into the finals. What they were supposed to at the spring split, but now they're here for vengeance in summer. And game 1 up. We're into game 2. Here we go. Immortals versus Cloud9.
We have to remember it was C9 making all the right moves at the beginning of last game. They were the ones out to that early lead, and they'll be looking to repeat that and just try to slow it down and not have that one big fight that goes wrong, because that game 1 win was really all on the back of one incredible team fight from Immortals, and the same kind of things can happen with a composition like this. If you give one big fight over to Riven or LeBlanc and you let them begin that snowball, that is terrifying. But at the same time, if you keep it slowed down, if they don't get ahead, it's going to be hard for them to compete in team fights against the likes of the Syndra, of the Gangplank.
And one thing I've heard from teams when they face Immortals is it is so hard to not fall into their game of brawling over and over again, because you have to answer their numbers, and either you're trading turrets on opposite sides of the map and you're just going back and forth and trying to match their wave manipulation because Immortals are so proactive.
Hey there, how you doing?
Because they're so proactive, it's really hard to keep the pace slow against this team because they are always on fast.
No kidding, they're so incredible at pushing the pace and making you make tough decision after tough decision after tough decision. And a lot of teams just become paralyzed playing against Immortals because they can make these rapid fire decisions right time and time and time again. And if you can't keep up with it, if you make one mistake, the game falls apart.
Well, we'll see if any mistakes do come through. Of course, Immortals now, I think with the slightly trickier composition to run, the 5-on-5 not nearly as obvious for these guys, so it's on them to play that high-pressure game, to play on fast. And here we go. The jungle starts happening. Is C9 going to take Krugs? And well, Immortals going to do something very similar at Gromp. We have the very same start what we had before.
Difference here for me in this game is mostly that Pobelter has the teleport now, and Jensen doesn't have anything to answer that. So Jensen's playing a little bit more for that lane, whereas Pobelter still focused on his team, still focused on being an enabler. And Adrian, that's a lot of damage.
But Wild Turtle's level 2 and Sneaky is not, so the damage they have on a Smoothie is really important. C9 actually missed one of the melee minions worth of experience. They killed the Krugs too slow to have the mirrored level there, and Immortals playing around that, even though they stepped really aggressively. But that is Turtle pulling minion aggro, losing a lot of HP.
So close.
And with both junglers clearing top to bottom, this could draw a lot of attention. Already a summoner down, low HP AD carry. This is a scary position to be in for both teams.
It's a bit better for Sneaky now. He did learn Spell Shield at level 2 to withstand some of this damage output, and looks like it's going to be the early recall for Wild Turtle, who does not seem to like the situation he's in.
Very smart decision, I think. This is kind of safer. They slow him down. They stop that recall, and Meteos still clearing his way down. It's looking like Reignover maybe looking to move over towards that scuttle.
Yeah, I think Reignover actually gets there first. Doesn't have to clear out his blue buff and get a second buff, but Meteos would really like that red before he goes for that gank.
Bit of damage from the Turtle, waiting for the Spell Shield there. A quick exhaust from Adrian does really nothing, actually. That is a summoner spell down, and now C9 can say, hey, exhaust down, you can gank in the next 3 minutes. It'll be an easy road for you, Meteos.
Reignover actually moving back up to the top side. He sees Gangplank pushing in, and he may want to try to stop this, may want to try to get the ball rolling here, but he is spotted out by that ward.
Yeah, this is so interesting because, like I said, Meteos has a tough decision on what lane he needs to go to because the middle and the top side are both really aggressive lanes, so the bottom lane is just brawling over and over again, kind of baiting a jungler to come to this lane.
Yeah, so far, Impact actually played this matchup very, very well. Nice blow up on the barrel, and he's getting a lot of damage down onto Huni, so I gotta say props to Impact for playing this early lane quite nicely. Current minion lead, by the way, up 3 for Impact's GP. You can see Huni dodges the Q, jumps in. Look at the damage output he's got. Doesn't overstay his welcome and wins that trade.
As soon as he gets that barrel.
Wow, Impact really timing his autos, doing it better than Huni.
Yeah, and Huni actually a little bit late on that E. Does take the Q damage from Gangplank, and high pressure early game on both sides. Top lane brawling heavily, bot lane brawling heavily. First kill could mean a ton in a game like this.
Could easily turn the matchup around. Both these players out of potions. Reignover to hand the blue buff over to Pobelter. 58 gold for him and a nice buff. Feels good. Mid lane matchup right now has been going better for Jensen so far. In fact, all these landing phases actually have been quite nice for C9. Kind of down the line, you're seeing what are mostly leads. A quick battle for the... Oh no! Meteos maybe stepping a bit far. A nice stun. The flash to chase down Reignover. And that's first blood. C9 once again getting the first kill. And now Pobelter is forced to run. Only level 4 in this LeBlanc. Be careful, Meteos. You're low on HP.
Huni's here.
Chasing the flash to catch him. Nicely done. Pobelter has the chain, and he's going to have the Riven, but no, the knockback by Jensen gets away from it. There's a teleport to chase, and Impact going to cancel. He knows that would be an overstep by him. Just the 1-for-1.
Meteos, such disrespect, just walks back in front of Pobelter, feeds over double buffs after what was a fantastic start. He could have walked safely through the river. I think that's a huge mistake from Meteos. Huge.
Could have walked through the river, could have even just walked straight down back towards his base from that position, because Jensen would have him covered. And this right here, Rainover goes over the wall, he gets chunked out, and then Pobelter lands the chain before Meteos flashes, so he keeps him there because Meteos wants to run away at this point, and now he can't run up because here comes Huni.
And look at this, now Meteos, well, I guess he can't, but I feel like still...
That goes into Huni.
Yeah.
I think he just has no option.
Yeah, you're right. Having seen that replay again, I do agree.
Yeah.
Either way, TP did come in there from Gangplank, so he does not have that to get back to lane, and that will give Huni a little bit of an advantage in that regard, since he's already heavily pushing here.
Meteos, nice job. Make sure he knew the numbers, presses Q and D at the same time. As Meteos knows, F is for flash, D is for smite, times him perfectly. It's almost impossible to miss if you hit your fingers right, and nicely done by him.
But look at where Huni is hanging out in this lane. He's zoning the Gangplank completely off the turret, knows he has to back out, and has no TP to get there. And now Rainover is right there babysitting him.
There's even a deep pink ward as well, so they know if Impact ever gets any help, fights back and forth. But this is level 6 Riven. He's level 6. This is bad for Impact. Maybe some disrespect. Windslash comes in, jumping backwards. Here comes Smoothie to join in. Exhaust to get in. Rainover can't quite kill off Impact, but Smoothie to zone them away. A trade of summoner spells and whatnot as Impact lost his flash, Smoothie lost his exhaust. And Immortals able to get away pretty cleanly.
Yeah, but think of how much that Impact is lost in terms of CS at this point. Already down 9. And Huni just camping in the bush, so may force it back as well.
And Impact was actually up before all the shenanigans in mid lane, so it is definitely a pretty big swing. Well played there by Huni. It did cost Rainover his flash, so pretty even trade of summoners overall. Very tight game here. A couple hundred the gold lead for Cloud9, and things in the bot lane going well for Sneaky. His support was roaming, so he may get zoned off pretty heavily here.
Quick pillar means the chomp. Sneaky did not spell shield it in time. A little late on his fingers there, but and not the worst thing in the world. He'll regen that back up without too much difficulty. The game we sit in right now, almost identical in gold. We look back at the bot lane.
Some nice deep pinks here from Immortal as well. If you look, one below the red buff, one in the lane on top side. They have pinks all over, really. And Immortals has great vision control, which allows them the freedom to kind of make some of these plays.
That pink ward that's inside of the river, or inside of the top lane in that bush, you barely ever check that. And now Rainover knows that Impact is coming through, gets to come at him again.
He has Gangplank his ulti though, Huni has to be careful.
The barrel, last hits it, nicely done by Huni, and then ease away the parlay damage. So yeah, Huni has to play this very well to not get picked off, but so far doing okay. And zoning Impact off more of the CS.
Also got the blue buff out of the jungle from Cloud9 there, so Rainover was doing that the entire time, trying to put pressure on that side of the jungle and allow the mid lane to have a little bit of an easier time.
It's really just very tight how this matchup is going, though. Huni is constantly playing in Impact's face, and even though he's not getting kills, he's getting map pressure. He's allowing, as you guys mentioned, that blue buff steal, the little bit of extra damage, the difficulties, forcing Impact to ult his own lane, which doesn't want to do. They want to snowball the bot lane. If you compare how these two junglers play, Meteos spends a lot more time bot lane than Rainover typically does. C9 style is often a setup Sneaky to be one of the bigger carries. Gangplank helps enable that style, doesn't get to based on how Huni's playing.
One thing here to keep in mind, Impact does have that TP. We'll see if he decides to save it, or if he decides to kind of go somewhere on the map, try to help out some of his other lanes. As Huni's TP is not going to be available, neither is Pobelter, so this is a time where they have that global advantage, and he will leg it back to top lane and keep that possibility available.
A very early Jarm's Fist here for Impact, too. Phage pretty much gives you about the same in terms of HP and survivability. It depends on how quickly he thinks he's going to get his Hysterics versus his Trinity Force. It'll delay it.
I think he just really needs the health. I assume he's played this matchup at least enough, just playing ranked games, that he's like, I need the stats, I need the health sooner.
It's simply about the passive, I think. You can get the extra 150 bonus HP when you do stack that up. So he's just giving a nod to Huni, not wanting to get just one shot, not wanting to get comboed by that ultimate. And I think it's pretty smart, showing that respect. It's almost a little bit similar to just building like a Seekers in lane, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because he knows he's later in the game going to want that. He's going to want the Hysterics to live through either Pobelter or Huni, I guess. And so he's okay to make that investment early.
It's kind of funny the mechanics of what Hysterics Gauge will do later on. Yeah. Because the way Riven's ultimate works is once you're low, once your health bar is low, shields don't count. Once your health bar is low, it deals up to its full damage. And Hysterics pops roughly once you get low, so even though it turns into health in a way because it shields, it actually still enables the full Riven damage output because the actual health pool still decays pretty fast. Kind of a minor interaction there. It slightly nerfs what the item does against Riven because of her own mechanics. Either way, I agree. It's something he's going to need for himself. There's the knockback. That's the skill shot play he needs. Ulti comes in on a Pobelter, but because he's building towards an Abyssal Scepter, the Negatron Cloak makes him survive the ulti. He knew the damage output there, but a nice play by Jensen.
And one interesting thing about that matchup, but there's a fight in the bot lane.
Yeah, a lot of damage dealt, but they can't get the chase down on towards Wild Turtle. The cooldowns were all down regardless. You can see him trading back and forth. And this time around, as pobalter nearly dying again, can withstand the cooldowns. But now a fight towards the top side. Impact caught on the wrong side of this fight. He's got 2 Immortals members behind him. Can't quite get the knockup. The flash there for Rainover, and it is going to be enough. A kill on the board now for the Immortals top laner and jungler. Taking out Impact.
Cost both their flashes, though. So that is some summoners down. We'll see if that can be capitalized on. Meteos was topside, but was not close enough to actually have any effect on that fight, unfortunately for him. But back to Syndra, you can just start to kind of ultimate out on cooldown. You can start to really just force the LeBlanc out. Anytime you hit a stun, you land the Q, you ult, you have a really big trade that can just push the LeBlanc out of lane.
Pobelter does have that teleport, though, to get himself back in. That's why he's taking it, as opposed to a defensive summoner spell, because he knows he's going to build defensive first, and then start moving towards more high AP items. Bottom lane, again, just trading back and forth. Turtle's caught.
Oh no, they got the knockup on a Turtle, but the Q from Braum missed. They don't have the chase, but they do have Meteos. There's the barrel. Great flash by Turtle. Meteos flashes into the body slam, properly plays it, gets behind the minions, and now come the teleports. Impact tanks up in the minion. Pobelter from behind. Flashes W into R into a bit of a dodge, and Pobelter is going to get stunned up. He's going to get collapsed on. He's going to go down, but a trade close. Huni picks up 1, then in a smoothie. A second kill comes through thanks to Rainover. Has to run because he gets ulted, and he goes down. A double kill. Impact actually getting credit for this one. 4-4, the overall scoreline. C9 back up in gold, 3-2 in that fight.
What an explosive fight, and the kills going just where you would want them to that top laner. The Gangplank getting kind of catapulted back into this matchup as he was getting focused very heavily, held onto the TP, and made it count.
And even though Jensen didn't walk away with any of those kills, he still got 2 assists on the back of it, and that still keeps him in par with Pobelter now. And this is just so well played. They catch out Wild Turtle. Smoothie on this Braum is just putting so much pressure on it, and Meteos is first to roam. Throws out the cask first to get the flash instead of body slam flashing, and then having to rely on the cask afterwards and the accuracy, so instead saves that spell.
And look at the roams. You know, Jensen is second to get here, but Pobelter taking so much damage, has to distort back right into Jensen's combo, takes so much damage there, and Jensen not wasting the ultimate on that meant he had enough left in the tank to help finish off Rainover as the double kill gets picked up there for Impact. They're up here on the top side and looking perhaps at a Rift Herald.
This is interesting, actually. Statistically, Rift Herald is picked up most by Immortals of all teams in North America and roughly least by Cloud9 of all teams in North America. So C9 said, yeah, it's in front of us. We have 3 people here, but not our style. Sorry, Impact, buddy, you're not getting the buff.
They almost never take it. It's interesting on Gangplank, too, because the Q does count as a melee attack, so it would do full value.
Apply the on
Look
hit.
at this. So many people roaming top right now. 3, and Jensen's also playing towards that side of the map.
Pobelter has teleport if he needs to join. Has pressure on mid first, but Jensen turns it back around. Looks like actually C9 will get the push first. Pobelter was not willing to burn any summoner or any cooldowns until now.
And Impact moving even more towards those tanky sort of builds. Has the tabbies, picked up a Phage. He definitely does not want to die in this matchup, but may have to blow his ultimate to actually clear some waves here as this is getting low. You don't want to give up that first turret gold to a Riven.
Won't die yet on this wave. The minion's getting cleared out. Maybe the next one's going to be the big deal. Plays just outside of Huni's engage range. Very smart. Impact spacing himself properly.
And Impact's hitting no help right now, but top lane, they have to get rid of Wild Turtle and Adrian or put pressure on them if they want that turret.
Oh, that was a nice little pillar, but now it's Huni diving on towards Impact. He's trying to cut away. He will, I think, be killed off for this. Actually, no. They don't quite have the damage. I think Wind Slash is used already.
It may have
and
been.
it's just not
played that so well.
Wow, Impact survives a 1v2 under his turret. The tankier build, the Jarum's Fist, the Ninja Tabby, the Phage survives it, keeps himself alive. Top lane turret may be going down soon enough. Impact making some very good choices.
He is just playing this incredibly well. So many other top laners would have died or just had to give it up. He's making intelligent build adaptations, and C9 looking to capitalize top side.
Ulti in, it's going to be Smoothie tanking the aggro. Wild Turtle going to run out of health, and Smoothie's got to run. He might die to the turret, but not before there's a double kill picked up. A perfect dive. dive. C9 showing us how it's done. Yes, the kill is traded back, this time an overstep from Impact, but it should be a race for this first turret now because Rainover and Huni doing plenty of damage on this one as the top lane's going down as well. I'm not sure quite who
Top
gets
doesn't
it.
have the wave just yet. Top doesn't have the wave. They're so close.
So first turret gold does go over to Immortals, and it's only 3 seconds apart. That's part of why Impact was spending so much time there. The kill almost worth the same amount of gold that first turret is in the first place. But it is still all Immortals in that case. The bot lane going well.
Look at the gold, though. Dead even here. These two teams have been so closely matched in this game. Ridiculously well fought on both sides.
Looking at where the gold is, Sneaky is up 900 right now, but then Huni is up 800 himself. So,
and that speaks a lot to where these people are actually putting their focus, right? Rainover has been helping out Impact a lot. Meteos has left Impact alone on that island, and Impact has been doing an admirable job to stay alive, but here's the dive on top side once again.
yeah, absolutely. Smoothie takes aggro first, tags both members, so even if he has to get out of there, they're able to pick it up, and then Huni comes in, they blow the flashes to finally get that kill onto Impact, and they get the turret first.
It's got to be frustrating for Impact. He's getting double flashed on time and time again. Both his deaths are actually from double flash, and it's so much focus. And Immortals always willing to make a bet that Huni can carry, put your resources into this guy, allow him to do what he does. He was the playmaker last time on Rumble. We'll see if he can have a repeat performance on Riven.
I think it's likely he has the highest gold in the game and the highest level in the game. Actually, I take that back, Jensen's 12, but certainly very high level, rank 2 ulti available for Huni. It is a person you can put that trust into, and very often it does work out. Immortals, a strong team, and now another play for Wild Turtle, slowed down by the barrel. There's the Gangplank ulti, I'm sorry. Ooh, a nice step back. He's juking the skill shots, but it just does not mean enough. He at least pulls out and exhausts at the very end of it all.
They're roaming up to topside, though, want to defend, and with those ultimates blown by Cloud9, they do have to back off, paying Immortals that respect.
And even just look at how many people have died on Immortals. Like, Wild Turtle has been focused very heavily on this low mobility Jhin, and they're able to just keep using the Gragas against him, get him out of position, and then blow him up, and he hasn't been able to do much in this game at all.
It's also key. He just uses flash there, and he died anyway, so they can just continue. Meteos still has his flash.
Yep.
Next time the ultimate is up, just go right back to him, continue to pick on the weak point. Get your Sivir ahead, look for the advantages there.
And it's going to be a battle of carries eventually, as the Riven has a lot of the kills, and Sneaky on this Sivir has a lot of them as well. They're the two big members right now. Stun's not going to quite land from Jensen, so nothing picked up yet in the mid lane. Rainover.
Huni coming up. They may look to fight.
Looking for the flank.
Could be tricky soon enough. Quick back out by C9. Nothing too crazy just yet, but now everyone's kind of aware. It's time to play Aram a little bit. Possability outside of the lane. Gonna come back in. Mid cleared away. Jensen to knock down the caster minions.
Most people playing ARAM. Impact, still playing the Gangplank game.
Yep.
Bank Plank, just trying to invest, get some money for a bit, and scale up. And that's really what C9 are getting out of this when they diffuse the pressure, is they are able to get Impact some CS safely.
He has got that Trinity Force now, getting pretty strong for himself. Going to be likely working to finish up that Sterix. And he's done so well, I think, in this series overall, considering the resources he's been given and considering how much pressure is being put on him. I've been really impressed with him.
And going up against the most pressured top laner from a jungle perspective. And Possability, hey, checks it.
Ooh, doesn't land the
Almost.
flash. Meteos nearly picks up Possability, but that's going to be another
Went
couple
back,
of
went back.
dodges. Yeah, he went the other way around.
Oh.
Possability is tricksy on this one.
But Syndra
Bamboozled.
is coming up, and Jensen wants to make him pay. Looks like he may just be out. We'll see.
He's gonna try. That stun's not going to land. He's still looping around. Now, the problem is there's still some turrets alive here. Possability doesn't have the easiest time to get away from all of this.
But Wild Turtle shoved the wave in, so he gets to walk past this
Walk
turret.
through. Wow.
Jeez.
Complete outplay by Possability. Beautifully done in the LeBlanc.
Making him look silly. That was very, very well done. And
Breaks their ankles.
Meteos missing that body slam flash by the smallest of margins.
Yeah.
Had he landed that, it likely would have been a kill.
Yeah, there's a patch where that would have worked. Body slam
Yeah.
had a little bit extra width on it before.
He went on a diet.
Gragas has been slimming down.
I
He's been
know.
working on
He
it.
became, just joined the CrossFit Nation. Maybe did some yoga. Can't stop talking about it now.
Nope.
There you go.
Just pitching skin ideas.
Yeah, there you go. Yoga Pants Gragas.
No! All right, Immortals versus C9 is still neck and neck in the game.
You're welcome for that.
Right up there with the leg bundle.
Yeah. Gragas did not skip leg day. We know that for sure.
No, definitely not.
All right.
Hooney's not either, because he's trying to get his carry pants on right now. He's just putting pressure onto Impact over and over again, making him fight for every single CS. And here comes Rainover and Adrian, both to the bottom side. They have ward control of this. Impact does not have complete knowledge of where they're going to go just yet.
Yeah, thankfully for him, Smoothie was around, so he does have an idea that this roam is happening. And once Smoothie's there, should be okay. Sneaky holding top side, soaking up that farm as he often does, working towards his second item now on this Sivir. And he's definitely a point of power for Cloud9 and will have to be effective in this team fights.
Still a tight game, of course. Only one turret's been able to be knocked down at any one time. I like the trap spam right there, Wild Turtle. Should be allowing him to pick off any melee minutes do get shoved in. It's just one of the nice things you learn as you play a lot more Jhin. Put a bunch of traps in the spot.
5-6 minutes ago, Gold dead even. We're now past 21 minutes. Gold still essentially dead even here, these two teams. It's this feeling of tension where you have to think it's going to be like last game where it's one team fight that's going to crack the game open, and both teams have to be kind of sensing that when games are so evenly matched, you're getting so powerful this late into the game. You know one team fight can mean so much because at this point you can take so many objectives afterwards.
Take Baron, the death timers
Exactly.
are a little bit worse, and it's around that 21-minute mark that happened in the previous game.
And it's interesting, you talk about, you know, getting a good team fight and finding the right pickoff and how fast Immortals plays. Wild Turtle actually changing his build order up. He's doing a max CDR Jhin build now instead. Instead of the Armor Pen build, which is more damage typically, he's doing the Essence Reaver crit build to have those ultis up all the time, to look for these fights, to get these pickoffs and set up Uni.
It is a little bit more of a pick composition too with the LeBlanc. If you can set Pobelter up or Hooney,
We're looking for the top side. Sivir ulti pop, Poelter. This time jukes by walking in a straight line. Gets away from it. Wow! Masterful play by Poelter, but his turret, of course, can't run nearly as fast. And you've got a bot lane dive at the same time. Immortals looking for impact. Pops the barrel, flash the way, gets out of the knockup, and he will buy himself some time.
So much.
He's going to be okay, I think, in this one overall, but that's a flash burn by Jensen, and Pobelter's on the chase. Want to pick off this ghosting Syndra. And it means that with the chance of a stun, they've got to run away from this one. But top lane 2-2 was picked off. C9 get the objective out of it. And the summoners and ultis traded mean nothing else.
Yeah, and everybody kind of congregating towards the mid lane now. No summoner spells on both mid laners, and the dragon being done at the same time.
Sneaky immediately gets rooted off, and Smoothie with the shield up says you can't have any more damage here. But it does mean that with the bot lane priority that Immortals had, they get to walk up and take that two-man Mountain Drake.
And that's the second, and that means that Baron rushes, objective trades are always going to be massively in their favor. C9 will have to be so careful. Anytime these guys are out of vision, anytime you don't know where they are, you have to respect the threat of the Baron. And because of that, C9 will have to play a lot to the top side. Keep vision on this. Always track Immortals members.
Whoop. Speaking of tracking Immortals members, I don't even think he saw him under the brush. That was just nice.
I do think, though, for Cloud9, it is lucky for them that Immortals are playing on the bottom side right now. You see all of their wards are on that bottom side because they already have that tier 1 down. Whereas on the other side of the map, that tier 1 for Cloud9 is still standing on the top side. Immortals, if they want to actually have that Baron be a threat, they have to get that turret down so that their minion waves can actually go a little bit further back and have a long push.
Ooh, look at this by C9. They say, we heard Rek'Sai ult, everyone stand still. Every Rek'Sai runs through their own jungle. Burrowed. Oh, all he knows there's a ward, but drops one of his own. He's gonna get stunned up. Guardian Angel already picked up for Rainover. You can see him just go Jorm's Fist into GA.
Yeah.
So tanky, and I think the right choice there from C9 to not make any commitment on that Rek'Sai. Even if you kill him, even if you get the GA, the ensuing team fight is going to be you with no cooldowns.
I'm interested to what he turns that Jorm's Fist into as well. But Hooney, trying again, he's going to look for another.
Basically takes no damage. Ravenous Hydra, and he can now withstand any of the damage Impact puts out. There's actually not great wards for Immortals on the bot side, only a couple of rounds there, but it's enough to not let him get ganked.
Oh, if Pobelter uses W to actually clear the minion wave, then that's their signal to go.
Receives him, here comes the play, distortion out. Pobelter's got to make the outplay, gets exhausted, runs to the bot side, jumps down even farther, exhaust time's out, but a flash key by Smoothie. And the other way goes Pobelter, there's the body slam flash, he's tired of your tricks, Pobelter, and looking for the kill, trying to pick it up, and it's going to be one kill picked off, but Sneaky is low. The snipe's coming across, looking for a bit more damage, but it's a 2 versus 3. Rainover flashes, and actually gets the shot shutdown
Jensen
takes
and
out
Impact.
Sneaky. Here comes the teleports. The rest of the team trying to join. Impact is in the mix. Jensen's there, is going to land the stun and rain over. The Guardian Angel or not is going to be sent down to the depths. He's going to be picked off. The Void Shark going to be killed. Another kill in through for Jensen, but Huni has split up to the mid lane, so kills or not, even though it's +1 for C9, it's a turret for Immortals, and it's more gold for the red side.
The question is, can C9 get anything back? What can they get on the counter push? Can they take out some turrets here? Because they do have two members down on Immortals, and they need to look to capitalize on it.
I don't
All they're
think
going to get is their own minion waves.
Yeah, they have to pick up those mini waves because think about Immortals ever since they were created back in the spring split. Even when they're behind, they're still shoving out side waves, and it just boggled our minds for a bit where it's like, how are they so good at doing this? Where everything is just shoving up. They're waiting for possability here to use his W, but he's not going to use it. Instead, uses it to escape, and then the run around. They were tired of his tricks, like you said.
Yeah, and possability does such a good job to delay, allows his team time to get there, and it's a big commitment by C9 to even just kill him off. So as the rest of the Immortals players do flood in, Sneaky's already low, possability has done his work, Rainover able to flash in and pick him off, and in the ensuing fight, Rainover does eventually go down, but it's Huni taking the mid lane turret.
Oh, they just got the flash out of possability as well. Meteos threw out the cask on live. And it's just possability shoving the side waves because he's the one who will have teleport as well.
TP coming in from Huni.
Here's the flank.
Flank play, and Sneaky has no way of getting out of this. His ulti is down. Level 16 on Huni's Riven. He's into four people, flashes in, spell shields away from the stun, but Sneaky's just getting evaporated, tries to get the kill, and it's Huni who goes down first. They will trade back into Sneaky, but possability are going to lose his life as well. Plus, sorry,
Turtle
2 for 1
here.
so far to C9. Turtle on the wings, has a red buff, misses the W, looks for Meteos, can't
Big
quite get
stun
it.
from
A big
Jensen.
stun, and Adrian, though, is able to walk away. A knock-up for Rainover. They still want this fight against Jensen. Can't quite get himself the damage, but there's the root onto Smoothie. There's the damage of it. Wild Turtle, though, has to reload. There's, again, the re-engagement. The blue smite, actually, the true damage lives up to it and gets the kill picked off. It's a 2 for 2. Root's not going to land. Turtle flashes. The Q's going to bounce and pick up one. And, oh, that was a sick pillar right there. Picks up, guarantees the shutdown. What a wonderful fight for Immortals.
Who said Adrian can't play melee supports? This guy is absolutely incredible on this Trundle. The way he's been playing all day has been great. And now the Baron so low on all the members of Immortals. This is risky, but they believe in themselves.
It's double mount, Drake, but
Oh no! Adrian loses the duel against Baron. Dark Souls is here, running out in the PvE. And now it's possability force the tank. 2 doesn't help. Wild Turtle
is
does his
coming.
feet.
This is insane.
Rainover's gonna die. He's dead.
They don't have
And
spike,
now it's
they don't
time
have
for
spike.
Sneaky. Okay, it was the Baron picked up, but Baron killed 3, by the way, and possability are gonna go down to the barrel. A nice chain comes out from Impact.
That's everybody but Huni. They're going to be able to pick up this mid turret here, and he's the only one who gets Baron.
yeah, can they get a couple turrets here? They could actually push for 2. This is some pretty long death timers. 40 seconds on possability, 25 on Turtle. Rainover down for 30. C9 looking to capitalize as Immortals gets a little too greedy.
Huni gonna buff the wave as best that he can, but C9 gonna wave clear even faster than you can really scare at them with this. Minions go down, looking for mid lane tier 2. The respawn's coming in now, but look how fast this turret dies. Mountain Drake or not, doesn't matter. He's supporting a top laner against 4. That's gonna be 2 turrets picked up for C9.
And here we are, 28 minutes in, even gold.
Dead evens, Irene. This game has been ridiculous. The slimmest of margins separating these two teams. And here we have that Baron again. The balls to even try this.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's absolutely insane because he's just slowly doing AoE damage to everybody here. You can see Wild Turtle's health getting a little bit lower over time, so he has to back up and wait and just throw out whatever spells he can. possability de-aggros, he can maybe take one more shot too. So
The Q last hits it.
absolutely crazy. And then the barrel from Impact, he's like, he's got to go over. There's only really one exit path for him.
And it's an Infernal actually picked up there for C9, I believe. So
I think it was the 3rd mountain of the
Mountain.
game.
oh, was it? Oh,
Infernal's
the next
next.
one is
Yes.
Infernal. Yes.
They're going to take away the blue buff, though, for that one. And yeah, this has been a tight game. Baron killed 3. 1 actual kill went to C9. As you guys mentioned, the only one wearing the Baron buff is Huni here. And the gold very tight right now. The turret's helping. And its Might from Meteos takes away the Gromp. 12 to 10 in kills. A tight match. Immortals actually up in money because they've cleared everything away. Double lifesteal in for Huni. He's got The attempt.
He wants
for
it.
Impact. Ulti and lands the stun. Gangplank will do a bit of damage back, but look at the output he's got, and there's the kill. You actually saw the Sterix gauge go off, but immediately lost the health. A solo kill for Huni.
Yeah, and Impact even has Flash available. He even has Yoma's Ghostblade. It's just too fast. Huni is so good on this champion. His animation canceling and the pressure he's putting on, he's just dominating this top lane matchup now.
It's a split push now. Immortals moving to the side lanes, get a solo kill, and it's Pobelter picking up the bot lane turret. And they are looking to really crack this game open through this side lane pressure, but C9 wants to fight.
Trying to crack it over through the mid lane, pressure up the gut they go, a quick slow onto the Trundle, they're looking for Adrian, the knockback comes in, Jensen finds the nearly solo kill on a Wild Turtle assisted by On the Hunt. Yes, the base is dying, so how fast can C9 get this kill and then run away? It's a 2 for 0, now looking for the backup to get their the rest of their base to stay alive. Rainover can only stop a couple of them, Sneaky will finish the recall, but the question is, can he survive a LeBlanc?
It's 2 inhibitors down.
It's a GA, though. If they want to stay here to kill Rainover,
the question is, how good is the resource trade? Because Huni's already looking for the duo, the solo kill against Impact in the picture-in-picture. Now it's Sivir to rejoin the fight. The jumps coming around, can't quite pick off Huni. Actually, Riven survives it in a 1v2.
Well, he brought everybody to him, though.
He's not going to survive. Just kidding. He's gone down in this one.
The inhibitor in the bot side, though, is going down to Pobelter. What a ridiculous series of events.
Wow.
Fights going on across the map.
Several turrets have gone down. Immortals taking them. They've picked off one inhibitor for themselves. Rainover actually survived this whole wild goose chase, by the way, but it was 3 kills to C9 as the trade for 2 turrets and an inhibitor.
yes, and here we are, Zale, 31 minutes in. 4,000 gold advantage, though, for Immortals. So they've broken the whole being even with one another after that Baron where they pretty much got nothing out of it, but Huni and Pobelter, the 1-3-1 coming out for Immortals, seems to be doing work for them. The double teleport, which they haven't even used effectively in this game, it's just the pressure that they're able to exert because Cloud9 seem like they want to group and have a 4-man unit with the Sivir ultimate to catch people, and they're just not letting that happen on Immortals.
It really feels like C9 needs to get catches in order to stay involved in this game. The side lane play from Immortals is unmatched, and Huni hanging out in base. You know, he has his TP available. This guy is massive. He's picking up the Rage Pod even on top of his 4 completed items and boots.
And a dead
He's gonna
man's
be a
plate.
menace.
Yeah,
That's his defensive item.
I mean,
Let me run faster at you.
what's really going to mess him up is Impact, and if he can stick to Impact, and here's the thing is, if you can use a couple of your abilities and not have to get the Dead Man's Plate off immediately at the start, you keep that movement speed bonus.
Huni is pushing. He is not coming back. C9 is going to have to make something happen here in mid lane.
Clearing the waves.
Pobelter's coming around.
Trying to block the damage. They do it pretty well with Smoothie. Gangplank got to zone them off as well, so there's not really a lot of defense here.
TP from Huni.
And here is the teleport turret. Not quite going to go down, but they disengage.
Jensen got chunked.
He got chunked, but Pablo did not kill him off just yet.
Huni's
Catches off Huni. They got the pick off in the top laner, so it's 5 versus 4. So unless they can pick off Jensen, all is well for C9. They have to wait for the wave. It's coming up in a second. Huge wave in the bot lane. They've got to respect that, though.
That was super good by Cloud9. As soon as that flank came out from Huni, everybody turned towards him, and then their back line became their left side line, and they kept him away. They knew that Pobelter didn't have burst left because he had just used it.
They want this turret so badly. In goes Pobelter, though.
He could be killed off. Sneaky's got to be careful. The pillar's there, but Meteos disengages a bit and pushes off Rainover.
Impact had to back to deal with that bottom lane wave. He does have to be needed.
No major CC gonna land. A quick root on Immediate, but he's gonna be fine. He's a very tanky Gragas.
TP is coming in here
It's
from Pobelter. They
Pobelter.
want to clean up.
He can
C9 doesn't see this.
He jumps to the left-hand side. He's gonna join the minion wave.
He already used his
around, but it means he can R to jump the wall again. Will do so once again with W.
He's actually looking for the inhibitor.
Pobelter just focused on those objectives right now.
But he's very afraid of what Sneaky can do. He knows the wave clear is there for Sivir. Doesn't think he can win the fight. Backs up for this one. The teleport only turns into a few minion kills. Not too much gained.
Oh, what an intense game. Pretty ineffective TP there from Pobelter. C9 going to be happy that both of those TPs are down. They once again have TP advantage. More completed items coming in across the board for both teams, and it is that critical mass that C9 feels like they're starting to reach as far as the team fight with a massive Sivir, a massive Gangplank, and this Syndra closing in on her final build.
Yeah, the Gangplank build is a little bit less than what you would want here. You'd really want to be able to have a different item instead of that Lord Dominic's, in my opinion, because how many armor items are there? There are 2 armor items total on the enemy team.
not getting a whole lot out of it.
Hooney's
Once
caught.
again caught out, just like before. Jumps the wall, gonna get sniped out. Smoothie actually grabs him with a chair, tells him to sit down, and now it's a power play for C9.
Talked about how C9 had to get the catches, and twice in a row they deliver. They are looking to push down mid, but it's Pobelter on the side. This could become a base race or one of these risky plays. Does Pobelter commit to the inhibitor, or does he base?
Now his teleport is not up. He would have to do the full 8-second recall to rejoin his
I think he
team.
goes for it.
He's going.
Looking for inhibitor number 2. Keep in mind, bot lane wave is big as well, but there's not great wave clear out of Immortals, so mid lane inhib should be going down, and it's going to be a trade of objectives. Can C9 get more than this inhibitor trade? That's the question.
Impact, though. Can he stop this from going down? Because Pobelter, he doesn't have like a Lich Bane or anything. He does barely any damage to it.
He's going back for it. Impact needs to fight this.
Well, Pobelter lands a kill in the barrel.
Impact can mess him
Impact
up.
losing a
Let's
lot
see.
of health on this one. Morelos is on ult.
that's
He's
what happened.
gonna get the
He
kill
got
out. Pobelter gets the 1v1. Impact saves the inhibitor, so C9 does get more than a trade. They get larceny. They get a 1-for-0, and they force the disengage out of Rainover.
This man, against all odds, Impact, getting no help from his team all game, comes up huge again. He has been a monster.
Absolutely agree. They're looking now for Adrian, who's actually still gonna be in their sights. That's a lot of CC. That's gonna be the kill. Meteos gets another, and suddenly Immortals are missing 2 members of their team.
And Baron is active. They could look to go this, but it looks like C9 just wants to push down mid. They're considering trying to push for the win here, as it's just Hooney without his flash.
20 seconds on Pobelter. They've got a super minion under their feet. The sweeper gets rid of the Jhin traps as well. Here comes the play.
Impact
Here
will
comes the
TP.
push.
TP.
Teleport to keep it tanky. Here comes Nexus turret number 1. Hooney on the wings, looking for
Can they
damage.
get
That's sneaky. They can't quite kill out the Simmer. Stays alive to the shields, and Rainover gonna lose the Guardian Angel. Hooney has to kite away. Gets stunned up.
Pobelter's
That
up.
could be a dead Riven, and he's gone. Rainover's next up. It's a 2-for-0. Pobelter cannot find Jensen. He flashes away. It's still the 2-for-0. A 5v3 inside the base, but the minion wave is gone, and they have to wait for reinforcements. Well, now they've got them, but the problem is their health bars are low.
Sivir ulti
Here's the
pop.
flash. The crit comes in for Turtle, the trade kill. I don't think it even matters. That's enough. A lot of damage
Sneaky's
comes
still
through.
alive.
Doing his best impression of Fevivan and gets the kill picked off. Sneaky is gone now. There's a trade kill back, but Meteos gonna die to the Trundle ultimate as Adrian finds prey for himself. The Guardian Angel gonna be his reward for this one. Barrel chain comes through. It is a 1 versus 3 here, but the health bars are low, and once again, the minions are gone. The respawn's 15 seconds away for Hooney.
And Adrian, the support, he's going to have to tank the minion wave. He's going to tank as long as he
pulls
can.
it down.
He has to
He's
pull the super minion.
Buying some time. He's got a Red Elixir doing as much damage as he can. Hooney's up very, very soon. Adrian's still cutting them away. Flashes
He's
but
gonna have
not
to
get
get out.
stunned. Can he pillar Smoothie? There's a home guard
TP
up Riven
from Hooney.
with teleport.
There it is,
He
there it is.
channels it down near the Dragon Pit. Rek'Sai coming as well. They're looking to surround on C9, and keep in mind, there's a big minion wave coming top and bot lane. This could be closed out by Immortals with the proper team fight here.
Impact's gonna stand his
Rainover
ground.
and Hooney on the chase. Impact looking for a bit to do, but he's not going to find it. This should be a dead Gangplank. Looks for the damage. Ulti on Adrian. Can't quite get it. Smoothie gets away with his life, but Hooney gonna look for Meteos. The kill coming through on this one. Gangplank ult did pick off the Trundle. The Gangplank himself was picked off by the Jhin. Played by Wild Turtle. Hooney's still in the chase. Meteos just buying some time. The rest of both teams are alive. It's a 5v4. Meteos stays alive. 45-second respawn without impact.
Absolutely insane series of events there. Tracing it back, where did it all start? Hey, Azael, 38 minutes in. Dead even in gold again.
God, this game is mind-blowing. I feel exhausted. I'm not even playing, and C9's going to the Baron. I can't take it.
No top laner for C9, no support for Immortals. A 4v4 to correct my earlier statement. 4,000 health left on Baron. 1 Mountain Drake's all they need. There's the smite, there's the pick of a trade of that for the Infernal Drake that just spawned for Immortals. So they've both got some combat stats, but C9 has more of them, and they've got empowered minions. They're up a Nexus turret. They're still up the mid lane inhibitor as well. C9 in a bit of a driver's seat as Impact spawns. He himself won't have Baron, but the rest of the team will.
Yeah, and looking at the base for Immortals, that last standing Nexus turret is so low. It's about 400 HP, I want to say. It's 500 HP.
Well, it's regenning. You were right earlier.
I would have been, thank you.
I mean,
But that's enough that if you get somebody to actually backdoor it, it's possible to backdoor the entire thing if you were able to keep Immortals occupied. But they're on full defense right now, except for Hooney. He's never on defense, ever.
And C9, they just want to go right up the gut. Huni has no TP. They could just try to rush down and finish the game here. Huni needs to start pacing.
Well, Huni's got plenty of attack damage. He can kill these things pretty rapidly. His ulti up as well to even increase
But it's
that.
just one Nexus turret. Huni, what is he doing?
It's gonna be a risk, but they're trying for the defense anyway. Huni is still pushing at this time. They're trying to get it, but that's a Nexus turret down. The Nexus itself now under fire, running out of health, and there's no chance to defend it. Cloud9 get the win, and they tie the series.
What was Huni thinking there? There was no way that was going to be even close in the base race. Both Nexus turrets were alive. He did not base. He did not have his TP. And Huni just throws away the game at the end.
You can see some of the members there from Cloud9 shaking a little bit. The adrenaline just pumping through all of the members of every team on this stage. Those decisions where everybody is up, you're trying to end the game and it's a base race. You end it there or they end it there. Really high intense moment.
And I feel like if both your Nexus turrets are alive and at full health, maybe that's a trade you can go for, right? But as Zareen pointed out, there's a couple hundred health. It's like 1 or 2 autos on that turret. And they put all their resources into Huni. That's all their damage almost. It's like, how are you going to hold with Sivir just charging in with the ulti? C9 effectively could just suicide for the Nexus. And I can't believe that call from Immortals.
Yeah, in this game, I'm thinking about mid-game, right? When we were thinking about the Riven got off the ground, 3-1-3. Huni ends the game 20 minutes later, 3-5-3. He just kept split pushing, and it seemed like he was dead focused on that, and then didn't play defensive when the time called for it. And it just seemed like the team, believed in him, but still, it's going to be 1-1 right now.
Yep.
Absolutely crazy.
Absolutely crazy. Impact gets counterpicked, gets camped, does the most damage in the game. Beautiful by C9's top laner. We have a 1-1 series, so now it's time to send it back to Dash, Mark, and Crumbs to break down that amazing game 2.
Amazing game 2 is one way to put it. It was crazy at the very least, but Cloud9 eking out a victory, coming out on top here, equalizing the series at 1-1. And before we dive into it, I want to hit that champ select again. We swapped sides. We had some questions around how C9 would adjust. They immediately banned that Rumble out for Huni and first picked the GP. But hey, guess what? Huni's got another pick that he's more than happy to take into GP in the Riven.
I thought the Riven was fine, to be honest. They're in the laning phase. It did pretty well, but once they get out of that point where it's like, hey, it's no longer about laning 1v1, not so much.
It's kind of weird because, like, I actually like the Rumble ban a little bit because it's not just a counter pick to the GP. It's like it opens up the Sivir a little bit more, and I think we saw that the Sivir was able to have a higher impact in this game.
Yeah.
But the Riven pick is definitely questionable because while it's great for snowballing, it snowballs harder than something than, say, a Gnar. When it comes to team fighting, it just, if it gets focused by like the Braum CC, the Exhaust, the Gragas in some way, it's just gonna get blown up. And that's what we saw was, despite the lead, when he had that first TP flank in the mid lane, he just insta-died.
Well, I think we have to give some credit to Impact here for his itemization, for being able to survive so much of the pressure from Immortals, basically stalling out the process of the backdoor until they got to a point where they can just 5-man into mid lane and then be unstoppable at that point. But I would have liked to seen a little bit more roaming from Pobelter to the Riven lane, make sure that you can just snowball on GP, because he was stacking armor, he was stacking that HP. If you just have LeBlanc pay a visit towards that side, but that's the downside of not having wave 2. You got Trundle, Jhin in the mid lane, I mean, what are you gonna do?
Well, I think they were looking at 1-3-1 with the TP LeBlanc, and they had mild success with it until C9 finally was like, hey, let's just group up and push mid, and then you're left with a pretty terrible 5v5 comp.
Right, but you do see how precariously the game balances at that point where if we don't group up quickly enough as 5, then we do lose to the double side lane pressure. If we group up just fast enough, then they have to back and try and defend as 5, and it creates a very chaotic game, which I think most of the time when we look at these two teams, we would say a chaotic game falls in favor of Immortals.
Well, even though the game just turned completely buck wild, I really did like how it's just a clash of two very different approaches to the game. One person wants to stall out, wait until 5, group, and just be a death ball, while the other one just wants to say, we're about the laning phase, we're about splitting you up, we're about running you around the map, like we saw Pobelter just running them around the Rosie and doing that successfully. But it's just overall fun to watch that happen.
All right, well, let's take a look at some of the gameplay. That was extraordinarily fun to watch. I want to start with the first blood, which was a traded 1-for-1 kill here, but we saw some sweet moves out of Jensen in this clip.
Right, I think this is really just showing how on the same page they are. Like, Immortals instantly flies over the wall, and Jensen's right there right after to pick the kill up. And then we see that Huni's coming down from River on the bot side, so Meteos needs to take this really unsafe path, because if he goes over the wall, he probably just gets killed. And then Pobel was able to go and clean him up. So it was just a really great way of seeing how on top of communication both these teams are and moving around together.
Yeah, very much so. You see the TP come in from Impact, doesn't finish it, so he stays top lane, continuing to farm. Of course, again, as we mentioned, we have to give him a little bit of a nod for how much pressure he absorbed. Once again, there's 2 games in a row on GP that he has just been a punching bag for both Reignover and Huni, but he's dealing with it very well considering the circumstances.
I mean, it goes even back to last series where against Envy, they had the Kennen picks and these things they kept throwing at him and he would make them go 1 for 1. Here, it took them a couple dives to get it right finally and kill Impact. If he's able to absorb this much attention from Huni and Reignover for the rest of the series, I think this could be a trouble for Immortals.
All right, well, let's jump ahead a little bit to 11 minutes. This is going to be a 3 for 2 for Cloud9 underneath this bot tier turret.
And this is going to start off with a nice little chunk here. It's so hard to go into the Braum with the creep wave advantage, and Meat is going to come in, try to pick it up with his ultimate, but Walter has a nice little flash out of it. But this is a great little flash, flashing over as opposed to the E-slam flash, but now the whole crew's coming down, and this is going to turn ugly for Immortals.
Yeah, so full 5-man in the bot lane.
Right, it's actually interesting to see that Huni and Reignover really aren't super on the same page here. Huni looks like he doesn't want to keep going as Reignover goes in, and then he's not really committed to the fight. So it was very interesting to see that this is one of the few skirmishes where Immortals didn't look on the same page, and C9 was able to come out on top for it.
Yeah, C9 once again around their table of food, gearing up
the
for
cornucopia.
Game. That's
Think
right.
they'll
Yeah,
finish the
gearing up for
bananas
Game
by the
3.
end of the series?
It's a good question. Right? You need that
We only got
potassium, man. You got to
5
get that
left. I don't
potassium, and you
know.
got to keep those muscles loose. That's what potassium does for you. No, but so for Cloud9, discussing what they'll do for Game 3 right now, I do want to hit one more clip, and this is an Immortals favored replay here, but it is once again Immortals making a very bold Baron call on the back end of this replay. So 26-30 into the game, 4 for 2 for Immortals. Gutsy Baron call, they secure it, but not before quite a few people go down in the attempt.
Well, this is going to start off with a TP from Huni, and he's going to try to look to 1v3, but he messes up the combo here. The nice little slam from Medios is going to throw him off guard, and he's going to be able to stall out just a bit, dish out some DPS, and forces out the exhaust, which is going to be huge because now the rest of Immortals can come in and try to clean up house. And it's just so unfortunate for Jensen that the stun, even though this one hit onto Wild Turtle, pretty much every other spell is going to just barely be out of range.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great spell shield, though, also from Sneaky on that initial attempt of stun from Huni, which keeps him alive just long enough to put out a few of those ricochet hits. But ultimately, a 1 fight for Immortals. We see them make another gutsy call in going for the Baron on the back end of this when all of their members have very low health. A contest from Cloud9 kills everybody but Huni, so Huni did remain on the map with the Baron buff.
Well, it's just what you were saying, that they're not on the same page. Like,
Yeah.
Bolter could have easily TP'd on time, but he waits like 4 seconds so his team dies to Baron. Like, all right, I'm here, guys.
Yeah, he res, has TP up, and he just sat there while his team died to the Baron. If he just went right away, it would have been a lot smoother. And there were a lot of these kind of uncharacteristic hiccups coming out of them.
And scarily enough for Immortals, that was all Cloud9 needed to really get back into the game. Because of the time they took to try and secure that Baron, Cloud9 was able to push down a couple turrets in the mid lane, grab themselves some global gold.
Oh,
and
that doesn't look good.
And in a sense, create
Who's
that
that?
Huni.
warpath.
Jesus.
Yeah, actually, I wonder what happened. Maybe we just lost food. Who knows? I have a feeling that. Oh no, yeah.
No, he's
there we
just-
go.
he's
It wasn't as bad as it was.
His batteries ran out, and he had to just
He's
recharge.
literally just like, no. It's still in high spirits there for Huni. But basically, those 2 turrets picked up for Cloud9 was what kind of created that warpath for them that they would use in the later stages of the game when they grouped as 5. Because they didn't have to go through 2 turrets anymore, they could very easily threaten that inhib turret for the remainder of the game.
Right, and I think a big part of it too came down to the fact that after that point, their team fighting was really bad, where like Huni would go in and get insta-gibbed, or it would start with someone getting really chunked out.
Right.
And it's hard to go from 3-1-3 to 3-5 and whatever.
Exactly. Well, you kind of do really see how Immortals team comp lacks synergy in full 5v5s when they're forced to kind of regroup and fight. Final point here.
One of the minor things I liked about Impact's GP here, into the Jhin specifically, recognizing the composition, LeBlanc can't come in for wave clear. Nobody else has wave clear. They're trying to wave clear or initiate with the Jhin ultimate. As soon as Jhin drops his ult, GP ult right on top of him in the center with the true damage. He has to back off or he's going to die. Get soloed out because there's no need for the GP ultimate to win that team fight because they're 5v5 so strong. So I thought that was a great usage of the ult.
All right, well, Cloud9, they equalize the series at 1-1, so come back after the break because the North American LCS semifinal continues in just 3.5 minutes.